Buying a home is the biggest decision that you make. Home buying process is the main topic today. I'm going to unpack each and every step in this video. There are 8 steps involved in buying a home. First step is preparing to shop. So each of the steps I'm going to go in detail. Next step is financing. And third step is finding a right realtor. Fourth is finding a property. Fifth is making an offer. And the sixth is negotiating. Seventh, closing a sale. And we have a happy home buyer that's moving in 8 steps. Let us unpack each of the steps today. So first, when you want to buy a property, what do? You search on communities. Where you want to go is your main problem. Where you want to live. So if you were to come to Calgary, you would basically explore whether you want a northwest or northeast or a southwest or southeast. Then again, you would see your requirement, which community you want to go. Would you like to go to Tuscany community or Arbor Lake community or maybe Northeast Cornerstone community? So that is the main target that you're going to see. So the next step that you're going to see your budget, how much you want to spend, right? So would you like to go 500,000 or 600,000? So that is the issue. So then you would see the size of the property, how much is the square feet that you require. So once you know this square feet, you also see age of the house. Do you want a newer house? Do you want a new built house? You know that new built property you will get in newer location. So again, then you will see, do you need a front garage attached or the back garage one? Do you want a townhouse or do you want a row house or townhouse? It's the same thing. So other thing is that would you like to go for the semi-detached property or apartment? Again, you do a kind of a research on the properties. You would see either in MLS or realtor.ca or my own tool, that is jerrymoras.com. It is a home search tool that you can see the property on. So once you have all this information, basically what do you want to spend, where you want to live, based on the requirement, it's going to be investment property or primary property. So you would decide to go to the next step and meet a mortgage broker where you will get the financing, right? So there are 4 things that we need to determine here. So first thing is assess your financial health. That means check your income, how much you're making, right? So whether you and your partner, so how much you make, then do you have a debts? Basically, I don't think that you will buy a car when you have to buy a house. So you're going to create a less credit score. So you will also have to have a better credit score, right? So then you estimate basically the home affordability, how much you can get qualified. So next thing that you would see is whether you want to pay 5% down payments. I know in Calgary, most of the home buyers are first-time home buyers, and they would not have much money. So in that case, you would be able to pay only 5% down payment. So if you pay a 20% down payment, you would not pay the insurance. So you would exactly decide at this point how much you want to pay on your houses. So next thing that you would determine is strengthen your mortgage position. So in this case, you would go and meet the mortgage broker and get a pre-approval letter. So pre-approval letter requires basically a mortgage broker to sit down and go each and every details. A number of things are required, basically pay stuff and like income T4s and so many documents. You need to talk to a mortgage specialist. I'm not the mortgage broker, but I'm here to give you some advice here what are required basically, right? You once you get the pre-approval, so you will understand the basically at this time the mortgage type. Is it going to be the variable or the fixed interest rates they are going to go? So at this time, the mortgage interest rates are very high. So would you want to take a risk, or would you like to go on a fix? So that's what exactly I'm not going to advise you on this. Please talk to the mortgage brokers. I got a best mortgage brokers in town. I got so many other mortgage brokers who can advise you on that. I can refer to them. So next thing that you got to do is maintain your financial stability at this time. Please do not go and buy something like 80,000 car or big loans you can create. So what happens is your credit score will go down and you won't be able to buy a property. So avoid major debts and keep the credit stable. Basically, uh, do not spend too much on credit card, pay all the expenses, manage your expenses. The more expenses that you have at this time, so it is going to affect your affordability. So take advantage of a buyer's incentives. And the other thing that you are looking at is RRSP. That is uh, basically uh, what you do is when you buy a first time home, so you would use this RRSP to buy towards your first home. That's a first home saving account, so you can open that every year. So you can invest basically $8,000 into buying a home. So you can create up to 40,000. So this incentive was started just 4 years ago, I guess. So you can use this money up for buying a property, but then it's get a tax incentive. Please talk to the mortgage broker on this, and reduce upfront cost by paying high initial cost. So ask if there is any grants are involved, especially GST. I know that if you buy a property right now, especially new property, you get a GST rebate. Uh, Now, still, it is not been approved by the parliament, but please talk to your mortgage broker. So once you get this financing issue sorted out, finding a right realtor. So I'm here, Jerry Moras, with the EXP Realty over 15 years, and I've got a really good experience with real estate, both buying and selling. So now talk to a especially a realtor here. So work with a local expert. So having a good realtor who could guide you would really help you along the way. He would provide you the market knowledge, basically get the comparables, right? So the home that have been active and similar properties that have been sold, and give a right analysis for you. So it has to be a kind of apple to apple comparison based on the square footage and the features of the property that are in the market, and do a right comparison. So that way you can basically know what the property or the market situation right now. What is the market right now? Is it a buyer's market or seller's market or a balanced market? Right now in Calgary, what we see is in some communities or quadrants of the city, still the seller's market. If you see in the northeast right now, it's a buyer's market. Again, if you go to townhouse or apartment, it is a buyer's market. So it is important for you to know what kind of market and what can you get right now. Buying a right property is important. Please do not buy a liability right now. You buy a right property, so buy low and sell high. At this time, you should be really aware of the market knowledge. The main thing that I'm talking about is right now, 2 years ago, the prices were high. Right now, the same property could be 10 to 15% lower. So, market knowledge is important, and the realtor is the one who can really negotiate for you. If a realtor makes money and sells a property, it does not help you. So he has to work for you to get the best deal. So he could manage the paperwork. So I'll come back to the managing the paperwork in the next step. So let us go to the fourth step, finding a property. Now, I got two sections here, basically choosing the right location and selecting the right property type. Choosing the right location, basically, sometimes some communities are basically safe to go. For example, in Calgary, would you buy a property in a forest lawn or would you buy a property in Bonus? It's a less desirable, but then you do your due diligence, right? So suppose you want to buy a property as a family, where would you go? So why the properties are not selling over there, or not many are buying over there, or why they are cheaper. I have done a lot of YouTube videos on these communities, basically priced or cheapest property in Calgary. Please like my videos and just share it and subscribe. I have done a lot of research on the cheaper properties. Next is about the schools. Some of the communities have got a better schools. So now, for example, in Tuscany, we've got a 4 schools, right? So it's like that's why we got a youngest population here. So it's better desired. And then the transit point. Now Tuscany has basically a transit connection, so you can go to the university or you can travel anywhere. So it's important to have a transit point, and that way the property values goes up. I've been living in Tuscany for 17 years. When I bought the property, 17 years ago, it was just a 350, 400,000. Today in Tuscany, a detached property is sold for 800,000 above. So why? One of the thing is transit point and the schools and the growth. So you got to look at the growth of the community and connections. So these are very important, and it has to match your lifestyle, basically work, parks and schools and culture. Now look at what kind of parks you have near to Tuscany. You got a bonus park and work location. From Tuscany you can go to basically downtown. I'm touching Tuscany because as a point of reference. So you got also, there are many other better communities as well. You could go to Aspen, or you can go to Mahogany, or any other communities. I'm just giving an example here. So next, select the right type of property. So would you like to buy a townhouse or a condo or a duplex or detached? So each of the property types, as a home buyer, so you should know what it is. Basically, when you say condo or apartment, a condominium is where exactly you got units individually, then you got a common places. You got a basically could be swimming pool or the staircase or the lift. These are the common places. Then you got a basically structure which is a kind of a condo or condominium. So where each of the unit holders pay the condo fee. So the townhouse is kind of a row house. So you got a number of houses together. So they are next to each other, and they are called townhouses. Duplex is more of a next to next or next to each other. So the houses are sitting next to each other. They are called duplex. So detached property. So when you have a detached property, you could have a front garage home or a back garage. So again, in detached homes, you got several types. So it's like there could be 2-story home, there could be 3-story home, or there could be 5-story or 4-story. So the different levels, split levels, you would also see. When you buy a condo, consider the condo fees. It does not mean, so when you don't have a condo fee, it does not mean that you have a good deal. So sometimes having a condo fee, no condo fee, is not a good deal. So why I say that is, who is going to maintain the condo, right? So secondly, the size. The condo size, higher the condo size, you're going to pay more condo fee. So condo is not a structure that you're going to buy, or like number of bedrooms or anything, but going through the condo document is very important, because there could be a condo without a sufficient reserve fund, so you might have issues with that. So layout of the condo is very important, and the value of the condo. So having said that, when you select a property, you need to have this knowledge when you are especially buying a first time. So you should know this process, then only able to understand in advance. That's the reason I said, okay, let's do this video and help you guys. So let us go to the next step, which is making an offer, right? So when you want to make an offer as a realtor here, so what I would do, basically I put the paperwork together, I'll collect your IDs, then I draft the offer. At this time I will just determine basically together with you what would be the pricing that we are going to consider. Are we going to, if the property is listed for 500,000, let us see what exactly we are going to do right now. Right now, we are going to understand the market, and then basically work for you. So considering the properties that have been sold, we need to get a better deal. So we would get a best. Making an offer, it is not about putting a price alone, but the overall, all the terms, whether it's a closing date or the terms that are included, or conditions that are going to be put. So now here is the thing, once we put the price, that is not the final price. We are going to negotiate. That is the next step that we are going to have. So we will have the dates here, basically the closing date and the condition dates and offer validity dates. So the dates are very important. Inclusions and exclusions. So we are going to include the basically the appliances that are so there in the property. Basically, it could be steel appliances that are maybe fridge or washer or the dryer, or the the dishwasher. So all these things need to be included. If you do not include when you present the offer, you are not going to get it. So these are inclusions, and there could be exclusions as well. Sometimes the seller might say, I'm not going to give the curtains, right? So those are the exclusions that we are going to talk about here. So then we're going to protect you. How am I going to protect you? Putting the finance conditions. Suppose you're not going to get qualified. We had you basically get you pre-approved, but then we don't have a firm approval, and a firm approval can be done once we made the offer and the offer is accepted by the seller, then we get the firm approval. So but then I would get the approval first before you do the inspection, because I don't want you to lose $400 to $500 for the inspection. So during the inspection, what we do is go through the basically roof and the furnace and the water tank and the plumbing and the electricals, anything that is related to the property here. So we are going through each and everything. So the inspector will go through the garage, go to the backyard, front yard. So I will spend with you basically 2 to 3 hours to know the property. Again, I'm not going to say that okay, inspection is the way to negotiate a property, but if the property has got a lot of work to be done, so of course I'm going to negotiate for you. So I'll tell you one incident that has happened just in this month. A property was listed for 550,000 and made an offer for property reduced, and then it came down to 475. Finally, we found the roof is no good, and there is a flooring issue, appliances issue. So the n number of issues. I got that property for 465. So this is important for you to know here, especially when you buy a home. What are the things that are involved with the property, right? So during the inspection time, I'm going to be with you. Home inspection is done, I will sit with you and go through each of the items. So what is required? There is a cost, there is a price involved for each of the things to be repaired, right? So once we get the inspection sorted out, we will finalize the mortgage approval with the lender. So we are happy. And if there is a condo, basically in townhouse or apartments, so we have got a condo documents, and that needs to be reviewed. So reviewing condos is very important here at this stage. So if you have got a condo without condo, reserve fund, without sufficient reserve fund, you're going to take a risk. Or if there's going to be special assessment on a condo, so you're going to take a risk. You're also taking a risk if the management of the condo is bad. Basically, uh, they are not managing at all this condo. So health of the condo is not determined by the shape of the condo or the look of the condo, but the condo documents need to be looked at. So sometimes the kind of fee could be 800 or 900, but then what is it covered in the condo documents? Is the utilities covered? So this is very important for you to analyze what is covered in condo fee. So do not get surprised. Suppose you see a condo fee of 400 or 300 or 800, you got to ask a question, why that condo fee, what is that condo fee covers? So hope I covered here. When you make an offer, understand basically the finance condition, understand the property inspection condition, understand the condo review condition, understand also if you were to sell your property, so that is a sale of buyer's home, so that condition need to be added. So once we made the offer, so we negotiate. So two things that I bring it to your attention: review the market comparables and negotiate key terms, and then prepare the counter offers. Let's talk about comparables and negotiating terms here. Basically, I would at this time give you the sales data, right? So the comparables that are there in the market. If a property is listed for 600,000, I made an offer for a 475 or for 80,000. So why am I keeping this cushion for 20,000 to negotiate here, right? So consider at times the property could be listed for 600,000. I'm not going to make an offer for 500,000 or 400,000. So there should be some logical reasoning behind making an offer. So why am I making that offer? So when I look at the property, I would basically say we require to fix some things. We need to change the appliances, right? So or could be that we need a later closing date. Closing date is the possession date. It is same thing. Closing date, possession date. When you get your keys on hand, so the longer you, if the property is basically vacant, seller is prefer to give the property right away. So if you say that I need the property after 3 months, that means it is not favorable to the seller, so it is favorable to you as a buyer. So basically, that point is important here, and setting the price and inclusions. Suppose you say that I can make the deal as a buyer only for 490, not 500,000. There are buyers out there losing the deal only for $500. Then what could be done to make the deal happen? Having a right realtor at your disposal when you want to buy a property is very important. Sometimes the relationship with the other realtor, seller's realtor, how your relationship is, how is your interaction, how you want to talk to. Sometimes you got to put your head and down and negotiate. You can't be rude to the seller's realtor and then get what you want, right? Sometimes it's better to, be quiet and just listening from the other side, from the seller side, and negotiate for you. So these are the techniques that, as a negotiating realtor, negotiating techniques are very important, and these are like primary for buying a home. So sometimes you see sale by owner. So what these guys do, put that property into the market, and then it's like they see it, they think that they got the best price and they negotiate. And there are homeowners out there trying to sell the property, and they thought that they got the best deal. But me as a realtor, what value addition do to you? So basically staying on a budget, act on your behalf. Now I got to be very honest here and tell you and about the property. So if there is any disclosures, I got to make it to you. So it's like that way you can understand what the property has, whether it has got a foundation crack, whether it is a good property buy, is it a high traffic flow property, or is it a backing onto the green space. So a number of things are involved with the property when you want to buy a property and then negotiate. Negotiating is an important element of a property buying. So once you negotiated, sellers agree, buyers agree, we go back and forth 3 or 4 times, then we have a deal for you. So at this time, you have a conditional deal, and we then get the home inspections done and the conditions removed, and then we have a firm deal. So once the firm deal has happened, what you need to do is wait for the basically uh, uh, basically for the closing. So at the time of closing, there are few things that you need to do, and this, as a first time home buyer, you would not know. So you need to connect the utilities. Basically you got to connect the contact the NMAX or any of the utility service providers that you want to deal with. So connect with the also the lawyer. So you need to hire a lawyer at this time and talk to the lawyer and know the cost for closing. So to register a property now, the cost has gone up. So to know more details about this costing, I have done another video on YouTube. Please go through on a buyer's guide, and you can check it out. What are the costs involved when you want to buy a property and register a property, especially on register the title, right? So the other thing that you need to know about the insurance, right? At this time, you need to get the insurance for the property so that you can get the insurance paper to the lawyer. And what are the things that insurance company is going to ask about the piping, about the plumbing, about about the roof, and so many other questions, and those need to be basically addressed. And I can deal with you when you contact me, so I can address all those questions. And basically or the when the day is when the day you're going to get the keys. So prior to that, lawyer will go through the RPR, that is a real property report. So what is RPR? If you have never heard about it, is basically the drawing of the property, where it is located, how much is the land, how much is the property sits, and it's like the details are there. Just Google or research on the RPR of the property and what needs to be known from the RPR side. At this time, lawyer also will register your property onto the title. So you need to get a free and clear title. So all the liens, all the encroachments, all the things that are there, especially liens and encroachment and everything, need to be clear. So once that is being done, so your property is going to be registered, and you're going to be at this time, you will say you're the happy home buyer. Basically, as I said, this is the eighth step or final step. So you're going to arrange the movers, you're going to set up the internet, you're going to set up the basically emails or some mails. For example, you're going to receive your mails have to be redirected to the new property. And at this time also, we'll do a final walkthrough. You know why final walkthrough is required? Especially when you have the property. At times, in final walkthrough, I have seen some disaster cases. To tell you one of the incident, home seller did not clean up the property. He left all the messes, basically personal stuff. So I myself had to basically clean up the property, or I had to hire as well some contractors to clean up the property. And sometimes what is promised on the property, especially appliances, they would change it. Basically, they would remove it. So those are the things that need to be known. At the final walkthrough, you need to see the windows are intact, or whether the floor is clean, or any garbage is left in the property need to be cleaned up. So I've been trying to basically protect the buyer, uh, having a clause on the basically on the paperwork, especially on the offer, saying the final walkthrough, 24 hours walkthrough prior to closing of the property. So then I would confirm to the lawyer property is in a good condition, and the lawyer will transfer the funds, and then you will receive, and we have a final celebration at this time to have the keys. And I want you to be happy home buyer. Basically, I've been in the market, I have sold over hundreds of homes and made home buyers happy. So you could be happy only when you have a right person at your side. So for more details, please reach out to me. I'm Jerry Moras here with the EXP Realty, and these are my contact details. Thanks for watching this video, and my number is 403-561-3456. I'm on a basically website, that is jerrymoras.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can look for Jerry Moras Realty or Jerry Moras. Also look for Google review as well. I'm on Instagram, I'm on a TikTok, I'm on a Twitter, I'm everywhere. So please do reach out to me to understand, especially as a home buyer, wanting to know what needs to be done in Calgary. I'm here. Thanks for watching this video.